All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College, and as part of my YouTube channel, which as you can see there, is JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, and in particular, from the YouTube playlist, Jeff Teaches Programming-Python, what I have been doing is I've created a bunch of payroll programs, or a payroll program that I've been modifying. I created it first, and I came in and I used Python lists. From there, I went back and rewrote it using Python dictionaries. Now I'm about to rewrite it again using Python tuples. You'll notice in here when you look at a tuple, it says they're used to store multiple items in a single variable. Again, much like an array. Tuple is one of the four built-in data types Python uses to store collections of data. The other three are list, which we've gone over already, set, which we'll do next, and dictionary, which we've done already. Notice a tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable, so you cannot make changes to it. All right, you set it up like this. Again, the items are ordered, unchangeable, and do allow duplicates. All right. They're indexed like an array is. So the first item is item 0, the second is item 1, and you go on and on. All right. That's probably pretty good as far as giving you a little bit of an intro. Now, there's only two basic methods that come with tuples. The first is count, which, as it says, returns the number of times a specified value occurs in a tuple. And the next is index. All right, index searches the tuple for a specified value and returns the position of where it was found. So what I'm going to do is what I have been working on here. Again, so far I've got in this folder here, I've got my BMI payroll, and right now it's in test, but it'll be moved. So I've got the Python list example, which is complete, the Python dictionary example, which is complete, and now I'm going to do the Python tuple example. You'll notice that that's empty. So I'm going to grab everything from dictionary, the 4 files here, not the cache file, but the 4 files. I'm going to copy them to the clipboard. I'm going to open up my Python tuple and paste them in. So there they are. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to open this folder up using Visual Studio Code. Now, to make things easier, because right now I've just basically duplicated what I've done for the dictionary. So I'm going to come in here and make some changes, just from the top down. So everywhere you see in here the word Python, I'm going to replace it with the word tuple. So I now have Python tuple menu.py. The Python header is fine. This will become Python tuple non-oop.py. And this will become Python tuple methods.py. All right, so those are all done now. All right, this, don't even worry about it right now. Let's just get rid of it. So let's clear. Here we go. So we now have this stuff. All right, notice tuple example. Okay, so let me move down to here and let's start making changes. All right, so the first one, the main one that we're working with to get the program started is our Python tuple non-oop.py. So let's start with that one. All right, and let's start by changing the name. So this is Python tuple non-oop.py. Create a non-object oriented Python console program which does the following. Use one or more tuples to get the following information from an employee or about an employee. Again, the employee number, which must be unique, the first name, which cannot be empty, the last name, which cannot be empty, the hours worked, which must fall between two constants, a min hours, which is 0.00, and a max hours, which is 84.00. And basically it comes from 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. An hourly rate, which must be between 0 and 99.99. This will be min H rate and max H rate. For each employee, we will calculate their overtime if they have it. If they don't have it, their gross pay will be calculated as hours worked times hourly rate. But if they do have overtime, we'll still do that calculation for their first 40 hours, but anything they've worked over 40 hours, they'll get time and a half for. Very, basically exactly what we have been doing. Now, next I want to utilize the following Python tuple methods, and there's only 2 of them. So I can get rid of all that. All right, in fact, I can get rid of these too because I'm going to replace them with the tuple stuff. All right, and that's these. So let me grab this. We're again going to start with number 1, and let's paste in that. So there's count, and as it says, count returns the number of times a specified value is going to occur in a tuple. Next, we have index. Whoops, that should be number 2, not number 1. Index searches the tuple for a specified value and returns the position of where that was found, if indeed it is found. So we're going to write each input as its own function, so each of these will be its own function. We will not use object-oriented programming in this program. All right, so right now we've got Python header as pheader, that's fine. Import lib, that's fine. Now this is going to end up being tuple menu. Whoops. All right, and that'll be pt menu for ptuple, Python tuple, and we'll also have Python, instead of dictionary, it'll be tuple methods as ptm. Okay, all right, so we want to go in here, and this will be ptm. This is just going to clear the screen for us. All right, it'll sleep for a few seconds and clear the screen. This will change from this to tuple. And instead of PD menu, this will be PT menu. All right, so PT menu. And instead of the dictionary, it'll be the tuple menu. All right, and then we're going to start it up. So basically what I've done in here in this first file is I've gone in and changed the methods that we're going to use so they reflect the Python tuple methods. Next, I changed Python dictionary menu to Python tuple menu and Python dictionary methods to Python tuple methods. All right, and since I went in with both of them, I aliased them. I changed the aliases here and here. Now I'm not going to run it yet. I'm going to probably get errors if I do. All right. So that's the first one. I don't think I'm going to have to make any more changes than that. Let's go into the header then next. And I don't think we have to make any changes. Let's change this. In fact, it is Python header. This is going to be passed in tuples. So it's going to say, welcome to my Python program. This program will utilize Python tuples. Okay, so that one should be okay. All right, let's jump all the way into then talking about our methods. I'm sorry, our menu. All right, we'll do the menu next. All righty. Now, a couple things. First of all, this will have to change to tuple. All right. This program implementation will utilize Python tuples to manage employee information. In addition, it will use the Python tuple methods as opposed to the Python dictionary methods. used in the previous program. Like the previous program, each employee will be identified by his or her own number. Don't worry about keys because basically they're not going to be used in here. All right. And since we only have two methods, this is going to look a little bit different. I set this up a little bit differently. So we're going to import Python tuple methods here as PTM. All right. And this is going to be the tuple menu. All righty. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this whole thing in here. Okay. And I'm going to get rid of this whole thing in here. I'll leave all this stuff here because we'll be able to use it. We're just going to have to make a couple changes. I think this is going to change to like 13. And if it is 13, we're going to end the program, which is going to be PTM, end program. Okay, so that's good. Now, when you look in here, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put a comment here that says, assume the following Python tuple of employee records. All right. Now, this is going to look a little different. And what I mean here is I'm going to get rid of these. This is going to be that. We don't need this anymore. And then this is going to go on a new line. All right. And instead of this being a dictionary of employees, whoops, this will be a tuple of employees. Now, I went out online to a thing that'll generate basically records for you. And I don't think, I don't really see a need for you to watch me put in 25 different records. I've already got them. All right. So let me go find them. This is not the right one. That looks like it's the right one here, so. In fact, we'll just put all of it in here. That's fine. Copy that. And then we'll bring that in here. So I'm going to get rid of this and replace it with this. So what have I just done? I want to take a second to go over it with you. All right. First thing I want to do is move this over. Okay. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 records, basically. These are 25 different employees. They're all made up. All right, they're not real people or anything like that. Move this back over just one. All right. That'll work. Each employee has an employee number. Each employee has a first name. Each employee has a last name. Each employee has a number of hours they worked. Each employee has an hourly rate. And each employee has a gross pay. Those were all figured out. All right. I did all those externally. Remember that once we go in here and we create this, it's not changeable. Now, I could go in and line all this stuff up. Right now, the numbers and the first names line up, but I could line up the rest, but it'd probably end up looking kind of screwy, to be honest with you. So I'm going to leave it the way it is. All right. Then next, what we've always done in here is we have these options where we put in this set of menu options. So again, this is our tuple of employee records right there. All right, and now we're going to have our set of menu options in here. And we're going to put in 13 of them. Now, you might look at this and say, wait a minute, there's only 2 methods here. Why are you putting in 13? Let me put them in, and then hopefully, once we go through and start going through this, it'll give me a chance to explain what we're doing in each one of these. All right, and I am going to move this back over to where it was. There. All right, so like I said, 1, and I'm going to just kind of set them up here. So lambda, PTM dot, and I want 13 of these. So I'm going to get a bunch of errors until I fix it. Don't worry about it. And I'll put a comma here. Okay, again, there's going to be 13 of these. All right. First, let's change the numbers of all of them. So 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Again, we can close that. Come on, let's close that. There we go. 4, 3, 2, and we already have 1. All right, so these are going to end up being the 13 different routines that we're going to call. All right, and they're a little longer the names than what I normally have, but what I wanted to do is give them names that were descriptive of what I wanted them to do. So here, first one will be called R, all employee numbers unique. And I'll have to pass in for each one of these, the employees, this thing, the employees tuple. All right, let me grab this. Put that in every time, except for the last one. And again, so much of this is duplicative from what I've done before. All right, this will be end program. Okay, so that one will actually, the error is going to go away very shortly. So let's just take it from the top here. So we've got PTM are all employee numbers unique. The second one will be called are any employee first or last names empty. All right, you can see the errors are going away as I'm putting stuff in here. Are all hours worked and hourly rates within range. Those are going to be things that are kind of going to replace what we've done earlier. Now I'm going to have 4 count methods and then 5 different index methods. So the first one will be count, number of employees working overtime. All right. And the next one will be the number of employees not working overtime. All right, you can see all the errors are going away as we're filling this up. So I'm up to 6. This will be a count for the number of employees making minimum wage or above. The next one will be a count of the employees not making minimum wage. All right. So those are our 4 count methods, and we're going to have 5 index methods. So this will be index of employee with highest, not high test, highest employee number. Now think about these. With the highest employee number, that's going to look through this list. There's one with a 9. Probably that's going to be Mia Garcia. Okay, that's what that'll return, just so you've got an idea. All righty, we've got 4 more to go here. So next we'll have an index of employees with highest hourly rate. All right, so again, when we look at that, the last one is the hourly rate is in here. It's the second last thing. It's probably, well, Ava Williams is making 92 something. 92.88. Oh, Avery Thomas is making 96.37. So that's going to be what should get returned. All right, is Avery Thomas. All right. Next, we've got the index of employees. So we've got the highest hourly rate, and this will be index of employees working most hours. All right, so this is my hours here. So notice we got Sophia Jones with 70 hours. Anybody making more than that? Oh, Victoria Thompson, 83.25. So that's what should be returned there. All right, 2 more to go. You'll notice my errors again are going down and down and down. This will be index of employee with the largest gross pay. So when I look at this last column, 1113 here, well, there's a big one. 7065. Oh, this looks like the biggest. Victoria Thompson. All right, at 94.64. So that's what should be returned there. And this will be indexes of employees working overtime. Now notice all my errors are now gone. I'm going to have to write each one of these routines, which we're going to do next. All right. So while true, first thing I'm going to want to do in here, and maybe I won't want to do this, but for now I'm going to do it like this. Let's come in here and do a ptm.sleep, sleep then clear. And all that does is it's going to clear the screen. Okay, now you got to move all of them over one. There. All right, so we've got 13 possibilities here. So we tell the user to input numbers 1 through 13. If it is a 13, we call end program, and all end program will do will be to just say normal program termination. It's the same thing we used before. It'll clear the screen, then it'll exit. Otherwise, it'll look, and if it finds a match in here, it'll run that one. If it doesn't find a match, if it throws a value error, all right, meaning that we put something non-numeric or whatever in here, should get that. Otherwise, it's just going to print invalid choice. Please try again. So right now, I have finished in here. Let me bring this one up. All right. I have already completed our Python tuple nanup.py, our Python header, which didn't change at all, and our Python tuple menu. All right. So again, if we enter a 1, it's going to call this. If we enter a 2, it's going to call this. I'm not going to go down all 13. And all 13 of them require the employee tuple to be passed in. I should say 12 of them. The 13th one is just going to end the program. All right? All right. So let's bring up the last file then, which is Python tuple menus. Okay, let's go back up to the top. In fact, first, let's go back to the menu here. And Python tuple menus, that's good. All right, hopefully that'll be okay. Let's bring up the actual Python tuple methods here. So, Python tuple menu, Python header, Python tuple nanup, Python tuple methods. All right, okay. Now I am going to be able to use all this stuff that I've used in here before. I am going to bring in the menu here. You'll see why in a bit. So I'm going to import the Python tuple menu. And we'll do it as PTM, Python tuple menu. Now our constants are going to be all the same, but we don't need an overtime anymore. We've already figured out the gross pay, but I am going to put one in here that's going to be called min wage. It's the minimum wage. And I'm setting it to 15.00. That's an arbitrary number that I picked out. So, arbitrary value chosen for minimum wage. Again, that could be changed if desired to something else. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to get rid of, I don't need virtually any of this stuff that's in here, except down near the bottom. I don't need the is list empty, but I do want to define the program and the sleep then clear. Other than that, I'm going to get rid of everything that's in here. All right, so made that pretty doggone small right now. Okay, now again, what I'm going to do to try to make my life a little bit easier is I'm going to go back into my menu and I'm going to copy in this, just so I know what to call things. That's all. Okay. All right. Move all these over. I've already got my end program, so I can get rid of that one. So the first one I want to write is this one. Exactly like this. So let's bring that in here. So def, and what this function is going to do, this will verify that all employee numbers for each tuple record are indeed unique. Okay, they are, but I wanted to be able to check that in here. All right. All right, so that's what it's going to do. It's going to ensure, if you can say, that each employee has a unique number. So, employee numbers equal tuple. What I'm telling it to do here is to check the first field in the employee tuple. All right. If and we're going to type in if the length of employee numbers is not equal to the length of the set of employee numbers, we're going to just raise, not raise, we're going to raise a value error. Now we could do that and put it in a try-catch, but I'm just going to do it right here, and I'm going to say employee numbers, or each employee number must be unique. All right. Now, if I get down to here, out of the if, I haven't raised an error. So no error was raised. So there were no non-unique employee numbers. So each was indeed unique. So print out a message stating this. All right, so I'm going to print all employee numbers are unique. Now, I don't know if I can run this yet without it giving me an error, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I've got this one done, so I can remove this one. All right. I might get errors because some of the other ones have not been, most of them haven't been created yet, but let's see. All right, so far so good. It should give me the menu. Oh, I've got the enter 1 to 13, but it's not showing me the rest. I don't know why. If I put in a 1, all employee numbers are unique. That's good. It did not print out my menu, which I don't like, but that's good because all of that is there. All right, so we'll have to fix that. But number 1 works. So if I put in a 1, all employee numbers are unique. Good. Let's go back to that menu for a second. Would actually be right here. Here. PTM menu, the tuple menu, the tuple menu. It's going to print out. I don't know why it's not right now, but it will. All right, so we've got the first one done. So our first method has been written. Now we're going to do our second method, which is going to look very similar to what we just did. So this will be number 2. Second one. So that's what this is going to look like. It'll, of course, need the colon, and it'll need the def on there. All righty. So this one is going to verify that all employee first names and last names for each tuple record are not empty. Now, it's going to be very similar to what we did in here. It's not exactly, of course, the same thing, but it's going to be similar. So what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to ferret through or go through the entire list. So I'm going to say for emp in employees. So in other words, I'm going to go through the whole thing. If not emp1, which is the first name, or not emp2, meaning if either one of those is indeed empty. Whoops. There we go. So if not emp1 and not emp2, so if it finds one of those as being empty, I'm going to again raise a value error, and it's going to say employee first name and last name cannot be empty. All right, just like before, if we get to the end of that and we fall out, so down to here, all right, if we found out there was no error, so there were no empty employee last names or first names. Again, so we'll print out a message stating this. All right. So we'll say all employee first names and last names are not empty. All right, so now I should be able to come in and from my main file here, run it. Now 1 and 2 should work. Again, I don't know why it's not printing that, but it is. So if we put in a 1, you already saw that. All employee numbers are unique. So that one works. Now I'll try a 2. Wow. It has no attribute. Let's make sure I use the same name both times. Empty employees. That's what we have here. Are any first or last names empty? Employees. Are any employee first or last names empty? Are any employee first or last names empty? Shouldn't have been an error. Let's see, I'm going to copy that and bring it in like that. For emp and employees, if not M1 or not M2, raise a value error. If I get down to here, there was no error. That actually should be correct. So let's try it again. And if there's still an error, let's try to debug it. All right. 1 gave us all employee numbers are unique. 2, all employee first names and last names are not empty. So we have now verified both of those. That's all we've done so far. I can do 13 to quit the program. All right. What I'm going to do, just was thinking about this, is where I've added all these. Get rid of this. Bring all this back up. All right. I'm going to grab this one. I'll just keep working like this. So this is number 3. So we've got are all employee numbers unique, and we've got are any employee first names or last names empty. All right, so that'll bring us down to here, and we'll define, are all hours worked and hourly rates within range? Okay, so that's the next one. Now, we're going to have another for loop in here. So for emp in employees, and we'll check them both in here. So if not, min hours less than or equal to emp 3 less than or equal to max hours. If that's the case, we've either found, something that was out of range. All right, so if this is the case, so if true, out of range value entered for hours worked. So if that's the case, we will raise a value error all right, and we'll say employee hours must be between, let's use an F string in here. In fact, let's everywhere we've got a print, just because it's such a good idea. Let's take all these, even though we don't need them, and make them all F strings. All right, so trying to be better here as far as putting in a lot of comments. Verify that all employee hours worked and all employee hourly rates are within specified ranges. Okay. All right. I'm going to grab this one and make a couple changes to it. So if not min h rate, and that's emp4, and this will be max h rate. So if true, and now the value range value is entered for the hourly rate. So employee here, we said hours must be between, and we used F string, so we can say min hours and max hours. And now here we can say that they must be between min h rate and max h rate. All right. And once again, if we fall out of the for loop, so if we get down to here, all right, then we can do two print statements. The first print will say all employee hours worked are within range. All right, let me just copy that. And all employee hourly rates are within range. Okay? Again, we're just doing some validation here. That's what these first three are doing. So let me do a save all here. Let me run this again. And I'm going to keep doing 1 and 2 because we've already put those in there. And I'm not sure why my menu isn't printing, but we'll fix that. 1, all employee numbers are unique. Good. 2, all first names and last names are not empty. Good. 3, all hours worked are within range. All hourly rates are within range. Those are all done. So the first 3 that we were writing, these were not tuple methods. We were just verifying and validating that the stuff that we put in was indeed valid. All right, so now we're going to start with writing some stuff in here where we're going to be able to actually use some of these tuple methods. All right, so the first one will be a count of the number of employees working overtime. And I actually added to this after I created it the first time, and I want to explain to you what I did and why I did it. All right, so what I want to do in here is I want to find the number of employees who have worked less than 40 hours. In other words, non-OT. Now, when I did that, what this is going to do is it's just going to give me a count, which is totally fine. And there's something like 9 people who have not worked any overtime. Okay? But I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, why not be a little bit more specific? And after we do that, let's print the names of the employees and the number of hours they work, just to verify that. Okay? Otherwise, all we're getting is a count. So non-overtime employees equal. Now, this is a little tricky, so let me put it in and then read it to you. All right. What this is going to do is it's going to do a for loop, and for every single person that's in there, it's going to find the ones where M3, which is our hours worked, is less than or equal to 40, meaning, again, that person or those people, if there's more than one, did not work overtime. So I'll do a print right away, and again with an F string, and it'll say number of employees not working overtime. Okay? And really in here, okay, we're doing this, and I don't even know if I even used a count. All right, but what I put in here was this. The length of our non-overtime employees. Whoops, don't know what I did there. Now, this should be a paren. There. Now, that's one thing. So if I ran this right now, and I think I need another paren here. Like that. Well, let's see. Maybe I don't. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's not liking this. All right, let me get rid of that. What's the problem? Print F string, number of employees not working overtime. Oh, this is working overtime, so that's fine. Number of employees working overtime. Okay. No, this was not. We did not first. Well, let's let me do this. All right. This will be the ones who worked overtime, because that's actually the first one. And that is greater than max non-OT. So greater than 40. This will be the number who have not worked overtime, which means they have worked less than or equal to 40. Okay, that's fine. Now, let's do this one first. So this is the count of all the employees working overtime. So we'll change this to overtime employees. All right. It still is going to be EMP for EMP in employees. If EMP3, this will now be greater than max non-OT. So we're going to print here with our F string, put in a \n in here, number of employees working overtime that should be this. Yeah. That's fine. We're going to fix this in a second. There we go. And that's overtime employees. Okay? All right. Now, that's not a problem. This isn't a problem either. Let me just show you that right now. So this is, I think, number 3. I don't know. Let's run it and take a quick look. So if we run this and we put in a 1, we put in a 1, we get all employee numbers are unique. Okay, that works. A 2, all first names and last names are not empty. That works. A 3, all the hours worked are within range, all hourly rates are within range. Now a 4. Number of employees working overtime. Well, it doesn't like something that's in here. That's okay. But it's getting down to that point. So we're going to fix this right now. Let's put a 13 in here to stop. Yeah, somehow I got it. There we go. I don't know if that's what was screwing it up or not. But we know our 1, 2, and 3 work. So let's go back down to here and let's get this 4th one and 5th one working. All right. So, number of employees working overtime. That'll be the length of overtime employees. And that's correct. Now, it'd be kind of nice to know who those employees are. I thought it would be at least. So I'm going to put another print statement in here. And I'm going to say the names / hours of these employees are. Okay? And now I'm going to actually do that. So I'll move this down 1. There we go. And I'm going to put it into a for loop for emp in overtime employees print F string name, and the name will be emp1 space emp, space emp2. Okay, so that'll give me their name. Let's put in a tab then, and we'll say hours and that'll be emp3. Now, that field is going to be a float field, so I'll do :.2f. So I'll have it for 2 decimal places. All right. Now, the good news is I'm going to be able to come in here and copy all this and just make a couple simple changes. All right, so now, don't worry, we'll fix them all right now. All right, so this will be the ones who have not worked overtime. So this was the one that was greater than 40. This is less than or equal to 40. And in the same way, we want to print out the number and we want to print out the name of those employees. Let's see if these two now worked. So these are the ones who have worked overtime. So File, Save All. We're going to run this again. So this, I believe, was like 4 and 5. But let's make sure our first ones, we didn't break anything. So 1, okay. 2, okay. 3, okay. Now is the biggie. 4. All right. So these are the people who worked more than 40 hours. So let me do this. I'm going to put a 4 in here, and I'm going to screenshot this. All right, because otherwise it's going to disappear, as you already saw. So let me bring that up in here now so you can see it. Okay, so now we have number of employees working overtime. There were 16. The name and the hours for each: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right. This one should be pushed over a little, so I'm going to change the name from Layla Lee to Layla like Lehman or something like that. All right. But notice if we looked at every one of these is under less than or equal to 40 hours. So that worked. Let's try 5. These are people who worked overtime. Now, if there were 16 who didn't, there should be 9 who did. Okay, there's an error. We're going to fix it right now. Not a problem. All right, looks like 38. There's no attribute. Count number of employees not working overtime. You mean count number of employees. Okay, we'll have to fix that. Like I said, these are just problems that you're going to run into all the time as you're going through in here and writing this stuff out. So let me clear this. All right. So count number of employees working overtime, count number of employees, they should be not working overtime. That's probably what the error is. Let's try that again. And I'm just about at an hour, so I think I'm going to stop after this, and we'll break this up into 2 lectures. So 1, oh, doggone it. 1 works. 2 works. 3 works. 4, you've already seen this, but I'm going to bring it way up here so again so you can see it. Works, and there's our 9 that worked overtime, and there's our 16 that did not work overtime. I'm going to change, like I said, the name of that one person who's in there. Because it's so short. So what are we having here? Layla Lee. We'll make this Layla Bronson. Okay. Now I want to run this one more time just because we have this, and I want to make sure that changed, but we're going to change and check both the ones working overtime and the ones. So this says number of employees working overtime. It should say not working overtime because all of these have less than 40 hours. So let's get rid of that. Let's make sure this is correct. So this is not working overtime. Working overtime. Okay, good. File, save. Let's run this. I think I'm clearing the menu out, and I think that's what the problem is. It's not that the menu isn't printing. I think it's printing, but then it's just clearing the screen real fast. All right. So 1 works, 2 works, 3 works, 4. All right, working overtime are 9. So let's stop right there. And I'm going to again bring this up in Paint. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each one of these has more than 40 hours. So each one of these people deserve overtime. So that worked. All right, let's try this with a 5. Make sure that our changes were now correct. Now we've got, well, it did say 16. It got cut off here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Layla is now Bronson. Everything lines up. Again, we could go through and do some sorting and stuff on here. I don't care about that. All right? I don't care about doing that. All right. So, as of right now, on our methods here, we've got the first 5 done. All right, we've got 2 more counts that we have to do here. And then we will have 5 different ones where we're using the index. And again, as I get done with these, I'm going to remove this stuff that you see on screen right now. I think what I'll do is I'll finish up the count ones here, and then we'll take a break. So here's the next one. So again, it'll be right here, def, count number of employees making minimum wage or above. All right. So this will be number of employees making greater than or equal to min wage, which we set up arbitrarily to be 15.00. And in just a minute, we'll put underneath that number of employees not making minimum wage. All right, so less than or making less than minimum wage. So this will be not. All right, they're going to be, again, very similar to one another. So let's write one, we'll write the other one. Again, we're assuming here that it's $15 an hour. So we'll call this min wage or above employees. if it's greater than or equal to the min wage. All right. And then we're going to, like we did before, I'm going to just grab this, both of these. So number of employees making minimum wage or above. And it'll be the length of this. Okay. Then, just like before, we're going to say the names, and we'll put here hourly rate of these employees are, and let's copy this down. So again, we got the name, and this will be hourly rate, which is emp4. All right, I'm going to grab all of this because we're just basically inverting here. So we'll call this below min wage employees. So that's where it's going to be less than the minimum wage. So the number making less than the minimum wage. There we go. All right. Believe it or not, I think we're done with that. So let's check those two. File, save all. Before we do, I want to go back here to first a tuple menu. I'm not clearing it there. I'm clearing it here. Let's try to take this one and just comment it out. See if that's going to bring my menu back. I don't know. Someplace I'm calling that where I shouldn't be. Whoops, right there. File, save, and let's run it. All right. We've done 1, 2, that's not where it is, but 3, 4, 5. Now we should be able to do 6 and 7. 6, those are all the people making above the minimum wage, so each one of those should be above $15 an hour. And 7, those, oh, there's an error in there, so we'll have to fix that. All right, let me fix that, and then we're taking a break. In fact, let me take a break now. I'll fix it during the break.